Hello, loves, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to HAPPYU Tarot. If you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome. So, we are doing 2026 prediction readings today for the zodiac sign of Aries. Okay, so Aries, what are we looking at? I have the astrology chart pulled up for you today, and so we're going to be looking at career, money, finance, okay, and how that the energies and the big transits in 2026 and how that's going to affect you as far as your money, career, okay, and financial abundance. Okay, we're also going to look at um, romance, love, and partnership. Okay, so we're going to look at that and just see, what are the big changes around love, around partnership, for singles and for those who are partnered. Okay, so let's jump right in. So Aries. Oh, and I'm sorry if I did not mention, we're also going to look at, I have some tarot cards pulled up for you for both money, career, finance, and then love, partnership, and romance. And I've already pulled the cards, but I am going to clarify, and I will do that with you here on camera. All right. So, 2026 Aries for you is going to bring a lot of breakthrough, like a breakthrough energy, fresh energy. Okay. And so what we're seeing is that with Saturn, the energy of Saturn is going to be clearing out a lot of blockages for you as we go into the beginning of 2026. Okay, so Jupiter supports expansion and visibility, and Uranus is closing a long financial kind of like restructuring cycle for you, Aries. So what does that mean? So if now 2026 or maybe some years past, because we're going to look at that, because I think for you, Aries, it's been a number of years that things have just felt like financial restriction. You've really had to ground and center as it relates to your budgeting and your saving. And for some of you, it may look like, you're doing a lot of, um, maybe trying to figure things out, trying to come up with new ways of budgeting and saving, but there's a feeling that nothing is working or you're not seeing any progress. All right. So 2026 is going to be like a breath of fresh air for you, Aries, as far as the transits that are happening. And like I said, especially with Saturn clearing blockages and then Uranus closing out this big kind of like a the pressure, right? It's like a someone taking the pressure off for you, Aries, as it relates to your finances. Um, so for a lot of you, and I said that the energy, it just feels like some of you have been preparing, and I would say for the last 5 or 6 years, for a lot of you, a lot of this reorganizing, restructuring the way that you view your finances, maybe even your career path. Some of you may have gone back to school or waiting for a promotion, waiting for a different role at work or in a new role, right? Um, at another, company or whatever, since maybe about 2020. Okay, for a lot of you, this started this like restructuring, trying to look at things a different way. Setting goals may have started back in 2020. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the transits then, Aries, for you for 2026. So um, Jupiter in Leo. Okay, so Jupiter in Leo for much of 2026 is gonna for you be about boosts in creativity. Okay, so a perfect time for you to start new projects or just keep pushing out, maybe something new that you've been working on for a while, a new idea. You're gonna get more visibility in that. Okay, there's going to be opportunities for you around leadership, okay, and recognition. So if you have been working on something, or those of you who are in school or going back to school or getting, maybe more certifications in the area, they're going to pay off for you, okay. Saturn continuing through Pisces in 2026 is it's going to be more of like a subconscious cleanup. So what I'm feeling for you, Aries, there's some things that have been, I say, streaming in the background, right, subconsciously, that you need to get a handle on, that you need to focus on. Saturn continuing through Pisces is going to be more emphasis on that. So I would say to you that instead of just sweeping it under the rug, go ahead and tackle those things. And that could be something like cleaning up, right? Physically, like your home, reorganizing. For some of you that may work from home, you may need to create a new space, right? Maybe the space you're in is just stagnant energy, and you need to maybe revamp, try putting plants in a particular space, or reorganizing maybe like a workspace if you're working from home, or if you have a home office that is closer to a window, right? Just where you could just feel more grounded and more connected, all right, to nature. And then just lifts your mood, right? Because we need that sun for, for energy, and just a sense of inspiration, a sense of that sun energy, masculine energy, which is more of a I can, I will, right? So that's what I'm saying for you, Aries. Another transit, Uranus finishing its transit through Taurus. This has been like a 7 year transit. So like I said, for a lot of you, it may go back, if you can think back to about 2020 when you first started. Some of you may have noticed that you felt those restrictions in your finances. Maybe, I know a lot of us did, right? During that 2020 era, right? But for you, yeah, just the significant things that you can think back to. So that is wrapping up for you. Okay, so as Uranus is finishing its transit through Taurus, it's going to bring more stability for you, Aries, and like new earning potential. But more so than that, more ways of how you're structuring, right? Because you're paying attention now financially to what works and what does not work for you. Okay, so if you're having to create some type of system, writing things down, like I said, getting more organized, creating like an office space for yourself, or just a space where you can physically see, right? Where money is going, goals that you're setting, vision boards, things like that is going to be very important for you. And you'll see, because you're going to see evidence of that in 2026, that things are starting to feel less restrictive for you. Like there's more flow, okay? Pluto in Uranus, okay? Long-term reshaping of friendships. So let's talk about that a little bit. Friendships, community, and then networking, okay, on a professional level. So, and you take that how it resonates, how that may tie into work, career, right? There may be people around you, community, where they are, like I said, recognizing some of your talents, your gifts and talents. There may be a friend who is stepping into a different position at work, and so they're wanting to kind of highlight you as well, okay, and tell you about an opportunity. So the energy is moving in the direction of new opportunities for you to step into that, right? So don't, if there is an opportunity, a friend is telling you about a different job or coming to a networking event, don't be afraid in 2026 to look into that, to say yes to that, because I really see a lot of good coming from that, Aries. So overall, your career theme, if we can talk about, we can theme it, is going to be all about creativity and leadership. Okay, taking charge of things, but also accepting the challenge and the changes. Okay, and I think, like I said, you've done that. Just accepting it, but now it's just time to step out. So it may be important for you, self-expression, branding for some of my entrepreneurs, coaching, speaking. So just new opportunities, right? Recognition and momentum. Remember, put yourself out there, because the energy is ripe for those to recognize you, right? And to give you those opportunities, because they see that there's an area of expertise that you have, that is going to be highlighted and that they need, okay? And new professional identity. For some of you, that is stepping into a new leadership role, stepping into a new role, a new profession, okay? So that is beautiful. And then making sure that I'm touching on all of the different transits for you, Aries. But I think that is it. So let's look at your tarot then. And like I said, I've already shuffled. Oh, and then I did pull an overall energy message, but I'll do that at the end. Okay. So for your first card for tarot, you have the Emperor. Okay. So that's beautiful to see because the Emperor is your energy, Aries, and it talks about, stability, right? Stability, having confidence, right? And, power and authority, stepping into your own. Okay. So that's very important. And then next to the Emperor, you have the Ace of Pentacles. All right, beautiful, upright, no blockages so far in this energy. And the Ace of Pentacles talks about like a breakthrough, something new, something that feels like a new opportunity, a new income stream, okay, a new job, a successful business, long-term investment. So if you've invested in something, things are paying off for you in 2026, okay? And then the last card you have as it relates to your career, financial abundance is the Six of Wands, okay? And the Six of Wands, this is my victory card, right? But the Six of Wands is you feeling recognized. Remember, we talked about recognition. You feeling like others are celebrating you or just seeing your potential, okay? So your gifts and talents are visible, okay? So don't forget to step out there, though, okay? And keep moving forward. And then I'm going to clarify some of that energy for you as well, Aries. So we're gonna clarify the Emperor, the Ace of Pentacles, and because I want to make sure there's not any blockages, anything that you need to be aware of through this energy. Okay. All right. All right. Beautiful. So to clarify the Emperor, you have the Queen of Wands. All right. And I love that. I love to see both of these together. So clarifying the Emperor is the Queen of Wands, which the Queen of Wands is just that charismatic energy, magnetic energy, magnetic attraction. You're attracting. This is Aries. You walk through a room, with confidence, and then people are just naturally drawn to you. They want to know, what is Aries? What are they about? What are they? They're very interested in you, your presence, and what you bring to the table and what you have to say. All right. So stand in that power, Aries. That's beautiful. The Ace of Pentacles is being clarified by the Strength card. So just being able to have the strength and the courage to take that leading role. Okay. Whatever this new opportunity is, you have to, stand in your power, right? And trust your own strength. Trust the things that you've gone through to this point. Like I said, for some of you, this is like something that has happened over a course of time. Maybe you've had some setbacks, but what have you learned in that situation? Okay, what have you gained? Focus more on that. What have I gained in this situation? What do I now know about myself that I didn't know 5-6 years ago? So that you can, trusting your gut instincts. That's coming through as well for you. Okay. Don't let this opportunity pass you by, and don't be afraid to also, there's an energy, Aries, of you don't be afraid to receive, okay? Whether that's constructive criticism, because it's causing you to grow. Ace of Pentacles, the new energy. Pentacles to me are about foundation and growth, right? So don't be afraid to take, don't be afraid for some of you to take a class to amplify whatever gifts you have or talents, right? Learning something new, stepping outside the box. Because remember, we saw that with creativity. Your creativity is going to be highlighted through some of these transits, okay? And then you also, the last card, the Six of Wands, is being highlighted by the Ten of Cups. That's beautiful, all right? So not only are you being recognized for something that you're taking a leading role on it, and people are valuing you and seeing your gifts and talents, and how that can benefit, right, community or a company, an agency as a whole. But it's also giving you back your independent, not just your financial freedom and independence, but emotional too, like emotional stability, emotional and financial stability. All right, feeling complete, feeling like, I finally, right? So that's beautiful as well to see. All right. So then let's shift it a little bit, Aries, and let's talk about 2026 predictions for you as it relates to love, romantic love, partnership. Okay, so let's look at that a little bit. So I'm going to go back to the chart. Um, so some key transits that are influencing love, partnership, romance for you, Aries. It's going to be Jupiter and Leo, okay, which boosts romance, okay, in 2026. Remember, we're looking at 2026, right? Predictions. So Jupiter and Leo both boost romantic passion, desire, and just having fun, right? For some of you, you're just getting back out there, having fun, um, and just having fun, taking a chance, right? Taking a leap of faith. Um, the eclipse in Aries um, is on the Libra Aries axis, right? Because when we talk about that, Libra and Aries is the yin and yang, right? The balance. Um, there's going to be, there were for you some, maybe for some of you, you may have found yourself in 2023, 20, 20 this year, 2025, learning some really big lessons as it relates to relationships. Okay, so some of you could have come out of some relationships, maybe walked away from a situation, whether it be a friendship, a romantic partnership that just didn't serve you, right? You outgrew, you tried. I'm feeling that you really tried to hold on to this situation to do the best you could with it, but there was just no harmony, no alignment. But you learned some really big lessons about that. There's also a sense with this, with the energy around Jupiter and Leo about, getting out and having fun while dating. Some of you may have really been felt the impact, like disappointment, betrayal, right? So it's been a little hard for you to shake that and move back into dating and getting to know and trusting and opening yourself up to others. But focus more on the lesson and how better you have become through this situation, okay? Also, Pluto in Aries, and I'm sorry, Pluto in Aquarius talks about long-term shifts, friendships, collaborations that just feel deeper, right? So, if for those of you who are in a partnership, you may notice that if there was some turbulence maybe in your relationship between 2023 and then this year of 2025, you've learned a lot about your partner. Your partner has learned a lot about you, and you'll see that things are starting to kind of clear out and to come back into alignment. And then for those of you who had to let go of someone, you've learned more about yourself, more about the things that you need, right? As it relates to a partner. And don't be afraid to take ownership of that, okay? Because that's okay. For my single Aries, it's going to be important for you to stay authentic in 2026, okay? You're going to attract what you put out. So being authentic, admiring your own fire and creativity is going to draw in partners who, admire, that in themselves and in you as well, okay? So have fun, be confident, all right? So let's look at tarot then. What do we have for, just checking to make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, so for your love, partnership, romance for through tarot, you have the Lover's card, and the Lover's card talks about like maybe making a choice, okay, having a choice between two, maybe also you deciding to focus your attentions outward, because maybe you have done some soul searching, some healing, right? And so now you're ready to, invite someone else in, someone that you may feel like is a partner, equal partner for you. So adventure, chemistry, excitement, passion, all of those are the energy around the Lover's card for you. And then the Knight of Wands is your next card, which talks more about that creativity. So, and having fun, and not being afraid to let go, right, of the past or whatever those hurts were, but to also the Knights may Knight of One moves a little fast, a little impulsive, and sometimes Aries that can be a challenge for you to not do that. But in this spread, I'm feeling that maybe it's time to be a little bit spontaneous, because I think that you've learned like kind of what works for you and what doesn't. So just create those boundaries, right? Continue to set healthy boundaries, but also, move forward, have fun. Okay, go out, get out. Even if it's not dating, just putting yourself out there in social circles where um, you know, there's other souls, right? Well, like-minded souls that enjoy some of the things that you enjoy. It's going to be important as for 2026. And then the last card you have is the Ten of Cups, and that's beautiful. All right, that's beautiful. And we also saw the Ten of Cups in your as financial, right? Career, right? You being acknowledged. So it looks like it's going to be the same for love, romance, and partnership. Ten of Cups in a love reading is all about, joy and feeling stable, feeling solid, feeling emotionally whole as well. Okay. Emotional peace, partnerships, things like that. So that's beautiful and long lasting. Okay. So we're going to clarify some of that for you, Aries. So let's see. What should Aries be aware of as it relates to the lovers? Okay. And then what about Knight of Wands? And Ten of Cups. All right. So the Lover's card, Aries, is, I'm going to pull all your cards up here. So you have the Lover's card as your overall energy for love partnership. And it's clarified by the Two of Pentacles and the Judgment card reversed. Okay. So being flexible, also stepping outside of your comfort zone. If this is about those of you that are single and you're wanting to date and just meet people, take a chance. Don't be afraid to step outside of the box. Maybe dating outside your race, your different culture, right? Getting in, like I said, out of your comfort zone, something that is not your normal way of doing things. You may find that surprises you. Okay. And Judgment reverse. Judgment is all about action. So remember, don't be afraid to take action in a situation. Don't let an opportunity pass you by. Remember, there's a newness about this energy for 2026 for you. I think the word that was highlighted for you was breakthrough energy, right? Feeling less restricted. Okay, so let that also shine through it, because it looks like it is, but you have to take um, step into it boldly. This energy of just new opportunities, right? New moments where you can expand, right? Your knowledge in whatever area, but also staying authentic to yourself. All right. So next to the Knight of Wands, you have Justice in the reverse. So yeah, making sure you're, I feel like I'm contradicting myself, Aries, but if, for some of you, for who this resonates with, you get it. Like, I want you to step out and don't be afraid to take the opportunity, but Justice is also reminding you to stay true to yourself. Like, you can, maybe be a little daring, but nothing that's going to cause you, learning from the past, nothing that's going to cause any further, right? Like chaos and restriction and setback, right? If you can help it, right? So yeah, so just trusting those intuitive nudges and learning from the past, right? Wisdom to know the difference, right? So yeah, and then the last card you have is clear. We have the Ten of Cups, right? We saw that, and we're clarifying that by, you have the Ace of Swords reversed, and then the Six of Pentacles reversed. Don't be taking advantage of, Aries. For some of you, you really, maybe you really want a partner, and that's okay. But step slow and steady. Have fun, but do just that. Have fun, but also you're observing, right? You're just not allowing anything to choose you, and you're not just choosing anything. Like, you're being very particular. Because the Ace of Pentacles can give an energy reversed of, something not being fair, not being reciprocated. And then Ace of Swords is about truth and clarity, right? So if we look at it, yours came out in the reverse. So if we look at it reverse, you're not being someone, or maybe you're not being truthful to your and honest to yourself, or you're allowing, you know, people into your space, your energetic field, that's not being honest with you. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. Okay. So I think that's, overall it looks good, but you're just going to make sure that, remember 10 of Cups, we're going to focus on peace, right? What feels good to us now? What do we know now? What have we learned, right? Things like that. And then I have your overall message for this energy to just wrap it up, Aries. I pulled you an oracle message, and it says, I welcome clear vision and inspire action. And so I think that just sums up this entire reading and this prediction, for what we see for you for 2026. And I'll read it again. I welcome clear vision and inspire action. Perfect. All right. So that's what I have for you, Aries. I hope that this helped. If you want to get a personal one-on-one reading where we dive more into the chart and just, looking at your specific situation, you specifically, all of the information will be in the description box. And I will talk to you soon. Peace, love, and light.